Welcome into Coffee and Chel for Tuesday, December 2nd. A packed show as we've got a lengthy gameplay update. One of the biggest updates that we're probably going to get all year when it comes to gameplay and HUT in general. For anyone that doesn't know, usually around December or November, depending on when the launch of the game is. This, again, remember the game came out in September. There's usually like one big patch where they take like however long it needs them to take to fix like a bunch of annoying issues or things that are running in the background. And they also usually do a gameplay patch, and that's what we got today, which will be coming out at 2 p.m. Yesterday, we also randomly got the HUT Advent event, or whatever, I don't even know what they're calling it, the holiday event, where essentially we trade in these tickets and we get various rewards for just logging into the game. Well, that's one way to get them. The other way is not really determined just yet, but we're going to talk about that. I have to give an update on my sanctuary that I built. I talked about it yesterday, but I didn't get to it because I somehow yapped for an hour straight. So let's get into the good stuff first. I think we should start with the patch. Okay, I think that's probably the best place to start. So I've thrown the notes up on the screen here, and there should be a link down below if you want to go read it at your own leisure. I won't go over the World of Chel stuff. It's lengthy, guys, so I won't go over the World of Chel and franchise stuff because, I'm a Hockey Ultimate Team creator. But if you are an enjoyer of those modes, just go and take a look. Make sure, depending on the mode you're playing on. So server downtime will begin at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Up to an hour of downtime is expected. All right, so gameplay. I'll try to go through these points and talk about the relevance of them. So number one, improvements to AI forechecking behavior to exit the neutral zone trap to apply pressure if offensive team is choosing not to break it out. So I'm wondering if this is really coming from Cup Chase because there isn't a there. I mean, there's a very it's hard. It's far harder to rag the puck like you could in squad battles where you find like a dead zone and then they don't attack you. In NHL 26, essentially, if you go behind your net and then skate all the way up to the center ice and then right back down behind your net, your AI will just kind of stop at the blue line, wait about 30 seconds, and then attack you. And it's a way to kind of cheese it if you're just trying to get your games done in as fastest way possible. However, I don't know if this is trying to improve that so that you can't do that. I'm really not sure. It'd be very interesting to see if there's a way online to utilize this. So improvements to AI forechecking behavior to exit. So this is when you're in the neutral zone trap. If your opponent is not breaking the puck out, they will switch to high pressure to go and get you. So I don't think this would apply to online. Just a guess of mine. It's not really explained well here if it's going to happen if you have a user controlled player. So adjusted AI diving shot logic to weigh opposing team acquiring the puck higher. So I don't know if you've seen this a lot, but you dolphin dive at pucks so much because I don't know. They wanted to make it super exciting. But this year, if you double tap up on the right stick, like there's a rebound near the net, and you're really trying to get to the puck, and you're just slamming up on the right stick. If you're close enough, you'll actually trigger a I think it's called relentless, or I don't know what the buzzword was for it, but you'll dive at the puck and try to shoot it into the net or shoot it. It's happening so much more than it ever has. And it's happening at times where, I mean, I don't even know when you would really. I don't know if I've actually done it on purpose. Like, oh man, I really got to dive for this, right? Like, it's just. They add stuff in because they need to make a commercial, and it just never matters at all. I think this was NHL 23. Ugh. Last chance puck movement. That's what it was called. Last chance puck movement. So funny. Fixed a case. Okay, so this was interesting to me. Fixed a case around leg versus stick contact, waiting for the stick in physics where the puck carrier's legs were stronger than intended against opposing poke checks. This could have a substantial improvement to poke checking in NHL 26. So, what this scenario is when you have whatever your body position is. I was under the assumption that stick and physics wasn't in the game anymore. So for anyone that doesn't know what stick and physics was, NHL 22, your player is one entity. It's one item in the game. Okay, so when you're talking about from like a coding perspective, it's one item, and the big issue was your stick was included in that. So your stick, your hands, your legs, all of it is one item in the game. And the issues that caused was, I'll give you an example. So remember back in the day, you don't really see it too much anymore. And I guess that's because stick and physics is still in the game. I was wrong about that. I thought they took it out. It just hasn't improved, I guess. I don't know. This was the old development team that the last year of Ben Ross and them, I believe, that implemented this. So back in the day, you know those replays where you would see your stick go through the goalie's pad? Or something that was, your stick through the boards. So that would happen because the game couldn't determine that your stick was not, if your legs weren't going through, right? Remember, your stick is part of your player's body in the video game aspect, right? So it would go through the boards and whatever. And the way that they would deal with that to try and make it more, I don't know, realistic or whatever, is they would make it so your stick wasn't, or that player wasn't really in the game for like a second or two because you're where you're not supposed to be because your body went through a goaltender, things like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so there'd be times where your stick would go through the boards and then your stick really can't pick up a puck because you're getting that like, that it's not a nerf. It's like you're getting like a timeout because you're not in play. So and again, no fault of your own. It's just how they counteracted, your body or your stick wasn't where it was supposed to be. So they have to give you a second where you can't touch anything. That's how it was for like a decade. Stick in physics made the stick and the body a unit. So if your stick hits something, right, it would react and not go through the boards because it was completely separate. So that was the first year of it in 22. They rushed it in, I think, and it was very, very base level. And it's unfortunate because I really think if they expanded upon it and made it better, it'd be so much better. Remember when, like, if you were defending a rush, your player would, like, try to get their stick above another player, and because it's its own thing, it's not, like, a part of your body anymore, you'd get, like, the wacky inflatable tube men situation. It's for anyone that played 22. So what was happening in NHL 26, anyways, is that when you poke check in a situation where the stick will hit their legs, not a trip, right? Like, you've got inside body positioning and you're reaching for the puck, but their legs are in the way. Essentially what's happening is their legs are just like blowing your stick away so that you can't get the puck. And I don't think this is going to be a fix-all, but I'm hoping that you can actually knock the puck loose in that situation when you have inside body positioning. Again, I've said this since the start when we saw how rough poke checking was from a defensive standpoint. It makes me nervous when they do stuff like this because I don't have a lot of faith that they won't just overcorrect and make stick checks to the point where it's just obnoxious. And that's what always seems to happen, right? Like it always, and to be honest, I would rather them fix stick lifts than stick checks, than poke checks, because I think a stick lift in this game, like it was in 25, getting inside body positioning and the ability to actually get the puck back would actually far outweigh and not ruin gameplay if they keep buffing poke checks, right? It needs to happen. I just don't know, because the interesting part here is that the ability Big Rig actually does this. So it basically means if you read Big Rig and you actually activate Big Rig, for anyone that doesn't know, I'll try and show you if you're watching the video. Okay, so if you've got your controller, right, and this is the stick that you skate with, okay, it's a little backwards because my camera's flipped, all right, so if you got your left thumbstick, you got to click in the left thumbstick and then aim left or right the way you want to lean, okay, that's how you use Big Rig. It's the old puck protect animation, and a lot of players don't even know how to use it. That's why Big Rig, to me, is not really a great ability for the casual player base. Remember, my audience, I get a lot of comments where people don't realize that 80% of my audience doesn't really play, online. Like it's a lot of just players, casual players, right? And NHL has the craziest mechanics in terms of the controller is utilized to the point where there's no other buttons they can use, right? Like it is from any other sports game. It is the most complicated from a mechanic standpoint. So that's how Big Rig works. It was like stick checking or your player was getting the Big Rig bonus because this year, when you're in the puck protect animation with Big Rig, you're supposed to not have the puck knocked free. It's supposed to, if they're poke checking you, kind of work like this, like what they're describing they're nerfing. And I'm wondering if when they changed how Big Rig worked and added this feature to it, it just made it for every player. Like, that wouldn't surprise me. Again, tinfoil hat here, but I'm just wondering if maybe now we'll start seeing the ability to actually poke check someone if you have inside body position to knock the puck free. Delayed penalties are now called if the player kicks the puck without a stick. Oh, God, I love them. Like, I get the immersion aspect. And again, I've been going down the road of playing the game so that it mimics the real sport more. Online, man, stop. Hockey is so random. It is infuriatingly random. And if you watch a full hockey game, like, it is almost obnoxious compared to other sports. And in video games, this is always going to be the battle. Okay? Because in a video game, you expect X's and O's. If I do this, I expect X result. Yes, hockey is a random sport, so there should be random outcomes. However, in a video game, a lot of players, especially if you play online, don't want the randomness. And again, I might be in the minority there, but maybe because I'm a competitive person, and it frustrates me when there's nothing I can, like, if your stick snaps in half, that's a real life situation. Yes, it happens. I didn't do anything in the video game to cause that. That is pure luck and randomness. And yes, it adds to the immersion of the game. But every once in a while, sure. But I don't want to be playing Hut Champs and it cost me a game. I don't. In a video game, I don't want it. There's a reason why they took it out for so long. In offline, in squad battles, in franchise mode, be a pro. Yeah, leave it in. Just online play. The delayed penalties when you don't have your stick or when you kick the puck, just pay attention for it. I mean, I don't know if I've ever been in that situation the last, 3 years. So, fixed to icon passing, where it was sending the puck in the player. It was sending the puck in the player-facing direction instead of towards the intended receiver. So, this is a big fix. So, if you use icon passing, that's by holding down right trigger. The icons pop up, and then you use the icons to pass. If you use that, this year it was busted. It wasn't. It was basically sending it to a player that was just in your field of view, regardless if you hit the button or not. So that's a massive fix and something that need to happen. A lot of people don't use icon passing. I use it in specific situations. One, I'm always holding right trigger because in competitive play for years that has been the meta. Because when you hold down right trigger, it would basically cook your passes. This is something that Polgs taught me, the reigning world GW or the reigning world champion. And so I always do it. So if you watch my gameplay, you'll see the icons a lot on the screen. The other thing I use the icon passing for is to see the players. So if I'm on the breakout, right, I'll hold down right trigger just to see where my players are to kind of give me a better look so that I'm noticing a little bit more. And then the last time I utilize icon passing, in the offensive zone in NHL 25, they took away pass assist in the offensive zone. Again, I don't have confirmation of that. It's just that's how the game reacted. So if you were making passes in the offensive zone, if you try to go back to the point, it would be like there's no pass assist at all. And when there's no pass assist, it is you have to to a T aim those passes. And it became very frustrating because you're trying to do it fast, whatever. And the icon passing, it locks on no matter what. It will get the pass there. It'll also auto sauce if you have tape to tape or send it. So I use it when I'm down low in the offensive zone trying to go back to the point. I'll see what defender I'm going to pass to, and then I'll use icon passing to get it back to my defender for a one-timer. Goalie reaction improvements to dump-ins and shots taken from sharp angles. So I haven't noticed the goalie improvement to dump-in. So this is when your goalie comes out of the net and basically will send it there's nowhere to go. I've seen this a lot where your goalie will get stuck out. Not a lot, but I've actually had this scored on me, so I'm hoping that they just stay in the net, tend the goal, like Steve Dangle says. And shots taken from sharp angles. This concerns me. One, there is a couple goals where you can shoot it along the goal line and get it in. I hope sharp angles doesn't mean that we can't pick the corner on our strong side upstairs like you can in real life. I'm talking lefty on the left, upstairs over the goalie's right shoulder. Just pick it, right? It is my favorite way to score in this year. And, Offensively, this game has been really fun. I think I'll be honest, I've had a lot of fun because I don't know if there's ever been more ways to score. Realistically, like, there is actually quite a few. Even take away the meta stuff, like there's actually, you can pick corners, you can pick your spots, you can see if your goalie's leaning left or right. Like it's good in my opinion. Defensively, it's a disaster, and I hope that my fear is that they take away the ability to score a lot of those good goals, and defense doesn't improve enough to match it, and it's just like then we have crappy offense and crappy defense. We've got a long list of Be a Pro fixes. So again, guys, I'll just scroll through all of this. Same with World of Chel franchise mode. We got some additions to Ultimate Team here now. All right, so ranked objectives. New Season 2 ranked objectives will be added, allowing players to earn Season 2 ranked collectibles through gameplay. I think we're already doing that. I don't know if they're including these patch notes from the last, like from Season 2. This is very interesting to me. Season 2 collectibles will become tradable for upgraded rewards through new high-value collection sets. So, are they going to let us sell our ranked collectibles on the auction house so that we could buy I don't know what the point of this would be. Follow me here. Because we're going to set the price on this. If they're tradable, we'll set the price. EA has no dictation over how much we're going to make the price of these collectibles. They make them tradable, okay? There's no sets, or there's no packs, or there is no cards, specific cards. Like, there's no set that you can do to get a 90 overall card or something, right? Or some exclusive card in the ranked sets. It's just like Cup Chase, where it's like, okay, you get a crown set or whatever, the crown pack or whatever the hell they're calling it, and we have no idea what's in them. So, why would you buy collectibles to get that pack when, if you really wanted to spend your coins on something, just go buy another pack with coins that you can see what's in them? I just don't know. This is very confusing to me. I don't know what the value would be here. Because, again, we'll set the price, and it'll be too high, and it'll be not worth it. So I don't know what they're trying to accomplish here. I guess you could just sell your collectibles if you don't want to do the sets for coins. But I just don't know who's going to buy them. And how much, like, I don't know. Very odd here. I to be honest, my initial reaction is just you just sell. Sell your collectibles. Because you're not guaranteed anything in those packs anyways. Just sell them. Ranked rewards. Ranked rewards will be scaled up with additional ranked tiers added so players can earn more rewards throughout the season. I think this is including the prior one. New win streaks. So this is the one I've been waiting for. A new win streak feature in ranked will arrive in early December, granting bonus progression for consecutive wins to help. Okay, I think are these patch notes combining? No. Like, this is like those are things that were added in to the last like little tuner patch thing that came out for Season 2. I'm so confused, guys. I'm sorry. I'm assuming win streaks are now in the game today because this is early December. I hope so. This is what I haven't played ranked yet. This is why I've been waiting for win streaks, because I'd rather just play champs to get my online fix and then just go through the path way faster than I would without it. So, all right, so this is a lengthy list of crashes and things, so pay attention if you get a lot of crashes. Fixed a crash when animating placeholder cards with synergy boosts in my collection. Fixed an internal error when resetting Cup Chase after the changing season settings. Fixed a gameplay crash triggered by passing the puck to another player. The game was crashing when you pass the puck. See, like, some of these you never see. Fixed a crash when scrolling quick lineup with R2. Fixed crashes when viewing ultimate rank floor in rewards and unlocks. Fixed an error when completing wildcard draft and redraft. Fixed critical internal errors when entering HUT. Fixed crashes and FTRD errors during HUT Champs matchmaking. Not sure what that one is. Fixed a crash when purchasing or opening the captain pack. Fixed internal error and matchmaking across HUT modes, or internal error when matchmaking. Cup Chase rewards and undefeated rewards display the correct information. What does that mean? Team logo changes no longer cause captain chemistry card to display overall 0. AP count now updates correctly when multiple AP line combinations are used on the same line. Captain chemistry salary indicator now shows the correct icon. Fixed an incorrect AP, SP, FP text appearing in certain languages. Salary text overlapping icons in some languages. Misaligned logos and event name translations. Overlapping event, nationality, team logos on MSPs. Incorrect art or white borders on Chel Week 3 to 4 MSPs and collectibles. Next gen additional players showing as pending item in packs. Alexander Ovechkin's 900th goal milestone card now showing as basic art, or was showing as basic art. Set requirement showing pending item for collectible tokens. Team of the Year rewards, text visibility issues. Confirmed Team of the Year. Debug text appearing in ranked post-game screens. Multiple win streak progression issues. Deep link banner no longer triggers FTUE incorrectly. No idea what that means. Hunt main menu banner now correctly routes to the intended mode. Fixed ranked summary animation not triggering after some matches. Inability to relegate when appropriate. Play next game showing opponent username early prevents early dashboarding. Oh, fixed play next game showing opponent's username early, which prevents dashboarding. So that's dodging. Fixed set search results, repopulating cards already added. Goalie controls breaking after certain quick swap pull goalie combinations. And fixed non-NHL goalie helmets not appearing in gameplay. They also fixed an issue where neck guards were causing some clipping, an issue in the victory sequence where uniforms would deform, and fixed an issue where some heads in Creation Zone had their eyeballs overlapping their eyelids. Center Ice logo updates. There's none for the NHL, so a lot for the AHL. And is there any for the... No, we got the Flint Firebirds. We got new uniforms added to NHL 26, so these will probably cost 400,000 coins. We've got the Blackhawks and Avalanche third jerseys, the new Dallas Stars third jersey, which it's not the copper, but it is unbelievable. It is so much better than their stupid neon greens. Oh, the new Los Angeles third, the Minnesota Wild anniversary, and the Penguins third. So you go full yellow, which is cool. We got a new San Jose Barracuda third in the AHL, and that'll do it. So, the big thing here, which I'm hoping for, I'm really excited to see that fix or that update to poke checking. And then I'm very curious to see the goalie improvements to shots taken from sharp angles. Like I said, I'm okay if it's that goal line cheesy stuff, but if you're picking the corner with someone like Bedard with quick release, that'd be kind of disappointing. Again, it's always going to be subjective when it comes to gameplay and things like that, but quite a bit different. The big thing here is just win streak rewards, I think. Just from, I'm very curious to see if they're adding that in, how it's going to work, and how fast you can move and progress through the ranked ladder, because I think that is important. I'm hoping that it allows us to improve a little bit more in terms of rewards that we get during ranked play, but we'll have to wait and see. So let's get into yesterday's holiday event. So I was hanging out with my kiddo last night, didn't stream at 5 p.m. because there's no content, and then lo and behold, they released the holiday event set. So very little information on this. I went into the Discord and I was just kind of getting some comms on it. There really wasn't much. So I think we're going to get a lot more info today. Essentially, if you didn't watch my video on it, I have a video breaking down everything that came out. And we're getting these tickets, bronze, silver, and gold tickets, okay? And we can use these tickets for various sets throughout the month of December. It ends January 2nd. And the one big one was there's a choice pack for an account-bound 88 overall. That Curtis Douglas card is insane. Like, if you can rush out and get that card, especially with all the line combos for Lightning right now, it's probably the best card in the game. So, interesting there. Alexiak is okay. He needs some line combo help for his skating. And then you've got Dan Vladar as a goalie. I'm very curious to see one of the great traditions in HUT that has not been touched over the last decade is the Christmas Day pack. Now, last year, they just gave us JT Miller, which... A free Master Set player item is a free Master Set player item. No complaints there. But man, there was something to coming down, opening the choice pack at 3 in the morning on Christmas Day, and just getting to pick a card. You know, we'd all end up picking the same ones. One of my, all-time moments on my channel is back when I think it was NHL 20. I was still relatively new. I wasn't a very big, not that I'm a big content creator now, but I wasn't like among the top dogs in Hut even. And I told everyone that I think Pekka Rinne is probably the best card. And he looked amazing. And goalies have the most longevity when it comes to getting free packs and stuff like that. And he ended up being so comically bad, like community wide. It is a meme on my channel. And if you've been around since the Pekka Rinne days, I mean, you're a real one. That's half a decade ago. So my concern is that those 3 cards that we have to get tickets for and earn, I hope that's not our Christmas reward, like our holiday thing. Because, again, the Christmas pack was just something. I don't know. It was like loyalty rewards. I hope they don't mess with it. It's a tradition that I like about Hut, and it's always fun. And I'm assuming we'll get something for free. But man, I don't know. They like I said, man, we're in an era where everything is changing in terms of the Hockey Ultimate Team that we used to experience and how we receive the content, because it's there's a new direction, and it's not. We used to complain about the rewards and stuff. We'll get into this a little bit later, but we used to complain about rewards. If you go back and look at all the videos, whether it's myself, Thrash, Enrique, whatever creator you want, or even just on Reddit, the complaint about rewards has been universal since since I came into the community in NHL 18. It has always been hated. Rewards have always been bad. And when you don't notice that it could be worse, and we're like entering that era. There was a comment, let me see if I can find it today, that I wanted to highlight, and it was so unbelievable because I sat there and I was just like, man, that's it. Give me 1 second. So John Foley, I'll go through it, but John Foley says in yesterday's Coffee and Chel, this feels like the worst. Excuse me. This feels like the worst rewards have ever been, but the best they'll ever be again. Buckle up and prepare to be milked. And like I've been talking about this all year long. This is not just an EA thing. This is across the gaming industry as companies just desperately hold on to revenue while indie games are just demolishing them in sales. And that line right there, it feels like the worst rewards have ever been, but the best they'll ever be again. And I couldn't agree more. I honestly think that we'll slowly start to see just like, maybe not worse, but it just stays exactly like this. And we'll yearn for the days where we used to get an ultimate pack, but they had nothing in them. And it was just 2080 overalls, and they were all worth less than 1,000 coins. And at the time, we hated it. Like, we didn't get, you know what I mean? There was nothing guaranteed. We all complained about it. And now it's like, well, I'm with you. I used to complain too. And I'm just like, man, I miss those days, you know? But just something interesting there. But yeah, so we'll find out more. Apparently, we're going to earn these tickets via objectives, moments, the usual. But you can also go into the store, and there's a daily advent pack in the store that you can get tickets from. I did it yesterday. So make sure you're doing that every single day, because I think I got a silver and a bronze ticket. I'm not... Guys, do not spend any tickets on anything yet. Don't. Wait for someone on Reddit to open up all of them, because they did that thing again where they're not explaining what's in the packs. Like, I don't even think that's legal. I guess because you're not buying it. Like, I wonder... This has been brought up a number of times to them. I know it has. So, part of me thinks that it is a marketing thing where if people don't know what's in them, because they don't need to disclaim what's in them, I don't think. Because there's no way to... So I'm talking about like cup chase rewards, all that stuff. In the store, legally, they have to show what is in those packs, because you have to buy currency to get those packs. The set packs, I don't think legally they have to show. And I think that they're doing it on purpose so that they can put a few big buzzwords there, like super ultimate premium players, jumbo alumni, superstar pack. And it's like, wow, this sounds amazing. But we don't know what's in there until enough people pull them where we can kind of get a sense. And I'm wondering if they're just doing that on purpose because it's ridiculous. Why not just show it? Like, why not just say it in text? What's in there? And maybe it's a way to get away from the clips and going on social media and be like, that's all that's in here. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's very frustrating. But those ticket packs don't have any descriptions. So I'm waiting. Just wait. Like, there's no reason, guys. Just hold on. And someone will open them up, and we'll take advantage once we know. My gut is like, just go make that Curtis Douglas, like, save up. But we don't know how we're going to earn them. I expect at content time today, we'll get a good sense. We'll find out. We'll get some objectives, moments, stuff like that. I do like it. It's more content. It's technically free. You just go and I'm just opening up those advent calendar packs in the store and going from there and see where we end up. But yeah, so let's get into some of the questions and comments. I want to make this kind of a comment heavy. Who should you choose? Because it has been kind of a minute since I've done a lot of these. So I liked a bunch of comments here. The ones that I just kind of highlighted first. So Dadbot says, "Hey Slaves, hope you're feeling better, my guy. I have an old school who should you choose question if you still take them. 100%. Who would you build, Kempe or Tage, on the premise that I like my lines right now? So more of a, if this guy gets a boost, I'll be glad I made him. Leaning towards Tage, but what are your thoughts?" Ooh. Okay, so you're saying you're not going to mess, if you make Kempe, you're not going to use him. Okay? Which I would recommend. I think Kempe's a great card. I'm not using him because he's a king. But if you're not going to put Kempe in your lineup, and you're not going to put Tage in your lineup, if Tage receives line combos, and there is one right now for Buffalo Sabres, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting topic. I would say Kempe is safer because he's a faster skater. And he already has line combinations. So if you change your mind and someone new comes out and he ends up fitting, and he has quick release and all of that, but so is Tage. If we're going on the premise of if they get another boost and make him big, Tage is going to be the more impactful player for sure. But Kempe right now is far better, in my opinion. Is Star of the Month coming Wednesday? Should I build Heischer or wait and save for Star of the Month? Oh, God. I'm not going to pretend like I know. I could predict. It is coming this Wednesday based on everything else. So Star of the Month will come out. It usually comes at the first Wednesday of the new month. Guys, Star of the Month last year was you trade in the captain card that you made, the Team of the Week captain card every week. So everyone, myself included, bought like the Marner, the Pedersen, the Tage Thompson, the Larkin, the Boldy, all those cards. And then they're like, you know what? We're just going to only require the 83 overall Team of the Week items. Those captain cards, you're not trading those in. It's like, I would anticipate that it would be very difficult for the Star of the Month card to be better than Heischer. And on top of that, the Star of the Month card will be very expensive, more expensive than Heischer. So I would make Heischer. Everything is not about the rewards, but from NHL 20 to 24, you were at least rewarded for the time you did put in online and offline. If the EA NHL team are trying to sell more packs and have less good rewards, that's not a good thing to do in my mind. Thanks for the good vid, Sleeves. Have a good week. Ben, I know you've been a follower for a long time. Like I said, I think I might do an experiment where I go through and I look at Reddit and my own videos and just comments from old rewards. They were not good because the way that there was more. Let me explain. Sorry. We definitely earned so much more in the past, but it required more to make the stuff. And it's not better now. I'm not saying that. It was just different. But if you go back and look, yes, you could earn more and get more lottery tickets. It's essentially it. You could get more lottery tickets in the hopes you pulled something. Guys, I played this game for a living. From NHL 19, I think. No, NHL 20 was the year, my first year full time. So 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. So like 5-6 years, right? And I have pulled 2 Master Set player items. I've never pulled a Team of the Year item. What you're talking about, what you're not realizing is that those ultimate packs and all of that, well, we got so much more. We did not get anything out of them. It was just more stuff. And yes, that stuff was then used to trade in, but the amount of stuff required to trade in was so much higher. It's not better now. It's just different. And A lot of it's revisionist history. But like I've mentioned over the last few weeks, guys, like again, just going down the rabbit hole of gaming, it is not going to get better. And you have to accept that. There is no amount of complaining that can be done. I'm not saying don't complain and just sit there like a good boy and take it. But the only way to implement any change is to just not engage. And I've tried to be the voice of that here. And if you spend money in NHL and you enjoy it, do that, man. 100%. It is the worst value to spend money than it has in the last like 5 years, right? Like you're getting less for more money. And but that's the only way we're gonna see changes if people just stop firing up the console and just get in the game at all, right? And it's unfortunate, but if you go and look at other Ultimate Team mode games, I've been following Madden a little bit and some of the top Madden creators, and what's going on over there, like it's this only way more because people are so much more willing to spend money in Madden because it's such a bigger game. It's a cash cow. FIFA appears to be the only game that people have a lot of. They'll complain about packs and rewards there and the cost of things. But when you see a FIFA player that comes over to NHL, they're like, oh, or someone that dabbles in both, they're like, man, they've figured this out. Again, guys, it's FIFA 80% revenue share of all of EA Sport of EA. That's billions of dollars. NHL represents less than 5% of revenue, maybe even less, right? So it's just that's why we have busted menus and a broken down game that doesn't get a lot of fixes every year, right? Like that's why. And when it comes to the way that they're trying to keep revenue up, it is not by innovation, it is by suffocation of the hardcore player base, because they're at a point now. Again, I don't want to just always talk about this, but you can just go and take a look at what's going on in gaming, right? Like it is impossible for gaming companies to churn out a good game that returns a profit year over year in a yearly cycle. Like there is no way for EA unless they put all of their dev teams on it. I'm talking like Tiburon or all of those ones that they own, like what they did with Battlefield, and they did it. All of their teams worked on a single sports game. Maybe that would give it crazy innovation, but you're not seeing any graphical jumps, right? Like when was the last time, guys, where you sat down, you fired up a new sports game, and year over year, you were like, wow, this looks incredible, as opposed to focusing on, okay, the gameplay is different. Ultimate Team is different. There's a new Be a Pro. Like there's something new like that. The look of it does not change at all. They have maxed it out. And that was something that you could sell. And when you don't have innovation like that, that's one less thing. And so these companies, again, it's just, they're trying to make milk as much money as possible. And they've always done that. But we're at a point now where they're sacrificing innovation because they're desperate for them to do that. And they're not going to try and convince new players via innovation. They're going to try and market to new players. But they're not going to try and get new players into the game and focus on that because they're less likely to spend money. It's far easier, or probably more impactful in the immediate return, to focus on the hardcore players that are going to buy the game regardless. I'm not talking about EA either here. I'm talking about all sports games. And that already spend money and focus on them. Raise the prices, reduce what they're getting. So they've got to spend more. They're more likely to just keep spending money. And like I said, it's going to hit a boiling point. We saw it with F1. I guess now would be a good time to talk about F1 a little bit. This completely went off the rails. So F1 went to a 2-year dev cycle. And a lot of people are like, wow, okay. Everyone's been asking for that with NHL specifically because NHL needs it. I think the first year of the 2-year dev cycle would be phenomenal, the first release. It would feel like a new game. Like a brand new game. The problem is, after that, we're no longer going to just expect small changes. We're going to expect these crazier improvements year over year, every 2 years, right? If you're a HUT player, I'll be honest with you guys. If you're just a hardcore HUT player, right? Like that is what you mean, right? My audience for the most part. I don't know. Like we don't need to buy a new game. The only reason we're doing that is so they can get more money. If they wiped HUT or made it where it was like, okay, here's the season 1 or NHL whatever, and then they flipped it over and it was like a new hut in October, and you just kind of started again, but there was one mode where you could use all of your cards from the past year. It'd probably do really good for the first year. Like, I don't know, you know, and maybe we would spend more money, but we wouldn't have the game sales. They wouldn't get the game sales, and that's why you're not seeing that with the 4 major sports titles going to a 2-year dev cycle. F1 does not sell nearly as much. So I don't know. We'll see. It's a pretty dark couple of years, but I think what the most important part is, if you get so off put about the money part, about having to buy packs and all that stuff, it's finding a way to have fun in the game. And if you can't, and I'm talking, you try multiple different things like lineups, cards to go after, set challenges for yourself, and if that still isn't it, it's time to find a new game for a little while. If you do a pure theme team, you'll never reach platinum, but I'd love to. I'm old and I'm bitter. But God, if I'm not competitive. You don't think I could reach... I hit platinum relatively easy in season 1. If I went full Sharks theme team, Happy Gilmore 6 thinks I'm not going to reach plat. Ugh. We'll have to wait and see. Now, I don't know. Now you're trying to pique my interest a little bit. Now you're trying to... okay. Derp says, hey, good day, slaves. Surprised EA, Activision, etc. hasn't gone to the subscription model yet. Why not just make people pay $20 a month to play NHL, Madden, etc.? Activision, how about $20 a month to play COD with annual updates every year? I'm sure this is in the future. Surprised we haven't gotten there yet. I'll explain why. Okay. So, how many times... I don't know how old you are, and I don't know your economic status and all that stuff, but how many times over the last half decade, 5 years, the new gen consoles, have you bought in a game and not touched it after about an hour or two? That is why that games, that developers don't go to subscription only releases. So I'll give you an example. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I bought Outlaws. Ubisoft is now going bankrupt because they are a busted organization that unfortunately just became a byproduct of what happened in the gaming industry. The demand for turning out profit, but you have to spend billions to do so, and then you have a game that doesn't do well. You're behind the 8 ball. You get desperate. You try to milk the player base that's still there, the hardcores, for more money. They get exhausted of it, and then you're bankrupt. Like, Ubisoft is about to either be purchased or just it's gone. I bought Outlaws, played it for 2.5 hours, spent $100 on it, never played it again. If I did a subscription service and I bought Outlaws for $20 so I could play it for that month, I would make it to the second month. They've made $20 instead of $100. That's why. Right? So sports games should go to this model for sure, and do a live subscription-based live service method for a lot of their games, especially for Ultimate Team. However, a lot of hardcore players like myself, like, we just play Hut. If that was the case, we would get bored and we would just check out. Very, very few people would go 4 months or 5 months to make the cost worth it. Very few. And that's why. They would lose millions. So I don't think you'll ever see that, because I talk about this a lot. Microtransactions is the king, right? But they have to get you in the game first, and game sales are very important, right? Because, again, regardless if you like the game or not, they've got your money, and you've been a paying paying person now. So that's why that you won't see that. World of Warcraft and stuff like that's a little bit different, because that's all online, and it is a live service that is continually evolving. Whereas if you're like an offline player, like franchise mode player in NHL, you play during Christmas time when you're on Christmas break. That's $20. Don't really feel it when you go back to school. Don't feel like playing that in January. Not getting your $20, right? So that's why. Justin says, Landon DuPont was actually really affordable for no money spent players if you didn't dump your collection in the Beast Mode event. I guess technically, because he bottomed out in price, I think Like, for sure, there's no way to argue that. Like, if me specifically, I couldn't get Lana DuPont, or I didn't want to, because I didn't think. Well, first of all, I didn't think he'd have a line combo in season 2, but they ended up doing that. Um, I didn't have any coins left because I burned my entire collection on the Beast Mode event, which actually I still do not regret. But the only way, I think it was more the shock value of it, was 300,000 coins for the pack, right? Where I guess if you were looking at MSP, like it ended up selling for like 120,000, like for him or Rubric, and that's actually not a bad price for them if you're buying them outright. So I think you're probably right. I think the major issue is that it was all on coins. There was no way to build them. And so for a lot of players, what you don't realize is that a lot of players that play offline probably don't have a lot of coins, and they're just chasing, like they'll just, yes, you could sell everything tradable for sure, right? But if you don't sell everything at the right time, you're missing out on a lot of coins, and then you don't have anything to trade in for MSPs and sets, right? So for other events. So, but I don't, yeah, I don't disagree. I think he was okay. But Chai says last season the top 300 players were Diamond 1 or higher, which is roughly the same size as Division 1 in previous games. You're right. So I think I said that, right? Oh, Diamond 1. I said Diamond 3 or 4. That actually surprised me. So that makes sense, because again, from just my playing, when I got into Platinum, I was playing players that I recognized, and I've been playing this game for so long. Like, even if you're not some sort of GWC or Gaming World Championship contender, like, I know all of the elites. I mean, I called the tournament for 4 years, right? But I've been playing the game so long that I know tags of players that I played a ton that are in Division 1 and 2, because that's where I end up being, right? So yeah, if you get into Diamond 1, top 100, yeah. What's crazy to me is there's 2 other divisions higher than Diamond 1, which is where 3, in terms of the player base, that's where they were. Think about that, guys. You've got half of the rewards, the best, at a spot where only 300 players can obtain, and half of them can't get into Elite. What this says to me is they need to put far more rewards down to the front and work their way up more. Sergey says the whole talk about handedness of players is way overboard in my opinion. But if you like it, cool, go for it. It's not like years ago when we could play forwards and defense, etc. I feel like it's not really much of a topic. I'm not sure what side of the fence you're on here. So I'm assuming he's referring to how I'm starting to play with my lefties on left and righties on right. So again, I don't know if you're saying that it's how it's overboard. I state that you will lose games because of it. Like, there is a reason why for the last 15, 20 years of online play, you flip your defensemen and your wingers. There is a reason for that. And I've talked about this a lot. It is not about the offense. Yes, it does allow you to create more offense. But as you get higher up and players are better at defending, that is where you'll see the detriment of it, because you don't have the threat of a one-timer. When you don't have a threat of a one-timer, then that player does not need to engage and cover that player. That's the real downside of lefties on left, righties, and right. I don't know what you're saying here, though, because, like, I'm telling you guys, I would not do it if you care about winning. I'm just saying I'm having fun using it because it looks more like real hockey. White says, I've seen this comment a couple times, so he says, please talk about EOMM. So I had to Google that. It's engagement optimized matchmaking. I had to Google what that was. So I did some research on it, looked into it a little bit more. And in some games, it's not skill-based matchmaking anymore. So skill-based matchmaking would be, you have a point rating, okay? You have an ELO score based on, wins and losses. And it can be very simple. I feel like ELO started with chess. I don't know. It's been around for forever. Okay, so you win a game, you get 10 ELO. You lose a game, you lose 7, whatever, and you end up matching with someone inside that skill rating. Okay, that's how skill-based matchmaking has worked forever. Okay, but what it doesn't take into account is win streaks. What's happening in the game that you're doing in your play session? How many players have you lost to in a row? Have you lost close games? All that. EOMM is interesting because apparently, again, I don't see a lot of games that it's in. I couldn't get a list of games that it's in, but it is in the game. It is in games where it will take into account what's happening. So are you losing a lot in a row to high-skilled players? it's going to feed you someone on the lower end so that you're more engaged and likely to stay in the game. Just like if you're smoking someone 3 games in a row, it's more likely to give you someone way harder regardless of your skill rating. And exhausting. But again, this is a psychological thing. So I talk about this a lot as well. Humans need to be challenged to have an enjoyment of it. How many times have you fired up franchise mode in your lifetime? This is my example for it. You fire up franchise mode. You spend 5 hours developing the perfect team. You make all these trades. You build the perfect squad. You sim the season, and you win the Stanley Cup, or you break every single record, and then you're bored. Right? Some of you might not be, but you're bored, right? Because it's too easy. Just like if you were to fire up Tarkov and you've never played it before, you don't have any YouTubers or content creators you follow, you don't have any friends that play it, and you just load into a raid, it is so hard that you are going to be like, bro, I'm not doing this. I got enough. There has to be a balance. And just like the food industry, man, like they have engineered you to keep you in your seat playing. And I don't know if this is in NHL. It would not surprise me. There's no way to prove it unless they state it. But this is scary because, like I said, it takes your skill rating to like the 10th degree. And that's tough. So, Zoo says, you're right about a lot, but you overthink a whole lot more. And in turn, it causes me/us to do the same. Just a heads up. I don't know how to respond to that. I talk for an hour about the video game and just like stuff in general, and like thinking is kind of like what I enjoy doing. And I think I like having discussions about it. I don't know the downside because I try to remain grounded, where if I have like a tinfoil hat theory, I'll state that I really don't think this is happening, right? But this is what I'm noticing. I don't know what's actionable here, Zoo. So what I would like from you, man, I'm all about constructive criticism. It's the only way we grow. I want you to elaborate or give me an example of me overthinking and then convincing you to do the same. I would love to hear more because, again, this is my first iteration of doing like an hour-long like talk show type thing without a co-host. So it's really just me yapping. And there's definitely times where I go overboard about a topic, but I'm struggling with it. But I'm learning. But I'd love to hear more as to what you mean by that. Okay. Balloon says you pay it $70 and get $1,000 of entertainment. So this is me about when I was complaining about the menus and it being ridiculous. Like, what are we paying $70 for? I believe. This is a tough topic, in my opinion, because it highlights the addiction that players have to their video game. So something that always kills me is that people that do nothing but complain about the game, okay? Or a game, not NHL, just any game. And then I want to see how many hours you've put in the last few years into that video game. And it's always going to be 500 and above. And at that point, that is simply addiction. And boys, I'm in it too. I get hyper addicted. Something that happens to me more, and I don't know if it's because I have ADHD, but I'll get so hyper focused on a video game where I will put in a couple hundred hours in like 2 weeks. Like I'll get so obsessed that I end up getting bored of it and just wanting to move on, right? But I get my time out of it. I think a lot of people, though, it's a lot like Netflix where they just come home and they don't enjoy it, but it's like I don't want to spend and waste time by searching for something that I might not like as well. So they just kind of accept it. I think the pay $70, get $1,000 of 1,000 hours of entertainment, 100%. I think when you're trying to weigh, this is what I used to do when I had a job. Okay, I would weigh. Okay, I make X dollars an hour. How many hours am I going to play this new game that I've got guaranteed to make it worth it? So if let's say you made $10 an hour, right? The game costs $100. Are you going to play it for 10 hours guaranteed? Because if you're not, you're worth more. And that's a very low example, right? But I just want to point that out there. You play 1,000 hours of a game, you got your money's worth, 100%, because you just it at least gave you the vehicle to do it, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't have valid complaints about the infrastructure of the game not operating correctly. How the events work, the gameplay stuff, any of that. whatever. That's all subjective, right? Some people are going to like it, some people won't, whatever. If if your game crashes, if your game always errors out, if it has stuff where, like, you know what I mean, that's out of your control, that's busted, I don't care if I put 1,000 hours in, because 100 of those hours might be just completely wasted time, right? And like, that's what I'm saying is unacceptable for the amount of money spent. There's the John Foley the quote. Sleeves, I'll say it again. I'll say it every week. Every team deserves a line combo. I've been saying that since I found out about line combos, guys. 100% agree. Every team needs it. I don't know. Again, I think that the line combo system that they've come up with, they have figured out the perfect way to combine fear of missing out, hyper engagement, all of that stuff with this format, and I don't see why they would change it. Business standpoint, I pray for every team deserves a line combo. I'm just trying to think like logically. I don't see why they would change it, right? Like, because if everyone's playing the game still, again, the only way would be like we're not doing it anymore, or if you don't see the line combos being chased, but like that'll never happen. So, one of the reasons people struggle with patience / holding onto the puck is coming from offline play. I loved this comment. The CPU board pins constantly, which doesn't happen very often online. You can't practice offensive zone patience offline. You have to take your lumps learning online, and few have the resolve to do so. Man, you are so correct here. 100% when it comes to the lower division players, because a lot of you guys come from offline and then start to online. Offline play, 100%. Is that you get board pinned and stuck up against the boards. That is not something that is really done online, because that overcommits a lot of the time. Some of the best players do it. It's why NHL 18 was one of the worst games of all time from a gameplay perspective, by the way. But I'm with you. I think so. Again, I talked about this. When one of the skill gaps of NHL is when you were in the offensive zone, relaxing, taking a breath, and not feeling the need to force a pass or force a lane to the net. And you wait for your opponent to move. And I'm not saying that is a good way to play, by the way. I'm not saying that, like, that's what you got to do, man. That's the best way to... I'm saying, like, that's how it is done. That is one of the options, because I don't know how many times where I'll watch my game and I have nothing open and I'm like, okay, better just go for a random shot because I can't settle down. And when I'm really locked in, I'm very patient. You go watch some of the top end players, like the guys that get like top 10 in champs or whatever. The amount they circle in the corner and just don't move. It's wild, because they can just, all right, you come get me. And again, it's not fun. It's just how you have to play the game at that level. Sleeves, you hit the nail. Okay, you can't really see this one. Sleeves, you hit the nail on the head about how you play the game, especially when you have to play top guys. It is so far from realistic gameplay because they just spam the same goal. Just go back and forth and protect the puck. It's not fun. But when you are able to play an actual system where you're cycling the puck, setting up a play, and not just spamming the scoring spots, the game is so much more fun, and it is so much more enjoyable. Feels like real hockey. The problem is, the higher you get, the farther away from the fun, realistic game style. I know I can score the same spam goals and win a ton of games in a row, but then I know I'm going to move up and get stuck in the gameplay for the rest of the year, to where I'd much rather be playing in Gold 2 and a playstyle I enjoy playing. I've said this for years now. The better you get at sports video games, the less you play the sport, the more you play the game. And that is just any sports video game, not just NHL. Any sports video game, the further, except for maybe MLB, but on MLB, there is a lot of bunt. It's a lot of base running. I guess everyone calls it cheese, but it's a master of the mechanics that are in the video game. It is not cheating. It is available to everyone, but the top-end players have the vision, the quick trigger ability in terms of like their thumb skill, but then the ability and knowledge of all of the mechanics that is available to them. And then they exploit it. It's a hard word, but again, I don't fault anyone for doing that, because the way you enjoy the game is by being one of the best in the world. And again, some of my closest friends won the world championship, right? Like, so like I followed it at the height, and I understand why they play that way. And I used to love chasing and learning that stuff, right? But then when I play someone, or I know that if I want to make ultimate, I would have to spend about a month of not just playing ranked, guys, playing practice mode and watching and learning certain mechanics that don't look like real hockey, but are important for the game because they will give you an extra chance. And I just don't have that in me anymore. I just don't find that enjoyable, right? So this is for any sports game, though, guys. And really any game in general. Like, it's video games, man. That's why we're playing video games and not the real sport. It's unfortunate because you want to be able to play your friend. That's really what we're missing. Mike, I don't know how old you are, but I'm willing to guess that a lot of the players that complain about it not being like the real sport miss being able to play your friend. Because I remember back when I was 18 years old, so NHL 08, my best friend Kyle, we would literally just play it nonstop, and we didn't know it wasn't really the internet era or the streaming era, so we had no idea about the tips and tricks and all that stuff, right? So it was just playing the way we had to teach ourselves, and there was so much less of that like cheesy crap, right? And I think maybe that's what we miss. Whereas kids now, when you buy a new video game, doesn't matter what it is, you get into a new video game, the first thing you do is tips to get better at this video game. And that doesn't even just apply for video games. That applies for like literally anything. If you get into a new hobby, it's like, how do I get better at this? And that's the great part about YouTube and just the internet in general, right? Because you save thousands of hours and you can make it far more enjoyable on yourself by not having to waste your time and have someone that's better than you explain the best ways to do things, right? But I'm with you, man. It's just a reality of sports games suffer from it the most. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's edition of Coffee and Chel. I'll be live this afternoon as we get the new content. We'll find out more about the holiday event as well. Hope you guys have a great day. If I don't see you then, have a good one, fellas.